Okay, let's learn to play the first part of the Romanza. It's in the key of G major, as mentioned before, and it's in a sentence structure. So the first two lines, which is the 8 measures, kind of shows a very balanced sentence structure. And it starts with basic idea. Just playing the left hand as a block chord. So it's G major, going to D7 and going back to G. Okay, followed by another rendition of basic idea, except left hand is different chords. We have E minor with C sharp diminished, leading to D major, which is the 5 of G major, right? So the second most important chord in this key. And here's basic idea 1. It's not a bad idea to try practice left hand as a block chord at first. And then now we're back to G, which is the home key. Now G7 to lead us into C major, which is the 4 chord. So this is the continuation part, starting from pick up the measure 5 to the end of measure 8. And this is where things build up, right? Because we don't want to be doing the same thing 3 times, so good things always happen in 3. First one is kind of an answer, and second one is like a little resolution, and then we'll build up, go to C major. We want to be the loudest here, and then G, 5/7, D7, and resolution on G. So let's take a look at the left hand accompaniment first. So before, it's not a good habit to always read hands separately the first time. So I highly recommend, before you even start this tutorial video, that you try to read through with both hands. Doesn't matter how bad it sounds or, how hard it is. It's important to get that experience of being able to play hands together, because if you're always reading one line at a time, it's going to be difficult to develop that sight reading skills. Okay, but so let's just pretend that you've done that already. And we have here left hand, as I mentioned, G. This is measure 1, going to 5/7, which is D7, back to G, and we're gonna go down, up. So I lower my wrist on G and then do tap on B and D. Round, up, up. The bass is the most important. Okay. And notice how the slur is there anyway, right? So when there is a slur, second one is always less anyway, right? So it's down, up, up, ba-dum, bum. So you want to be really light on those dap chords. And then it shifts down a third to E minor. This time we're holding the bass notes. Let's try 4-2-1 as recommended. So it's down, up, E again, up. So I shift in for that C sharp and stretch out. See, I'm already set up for it. 5-3-1, 3-1. Okay. So let's just try up to there, just the left hand alone. 1, ready, go. 5, up, down, down, up. Now move down, up. Hold that bass, and then D kind of adds the resonance, right? Without even adding the pedal. And then left hand's back to G major position. This is measure 5 now. G, B, D, and then let's do help out the right hand, do a crescendo to here. You arrive, do a little arm circle. So I'm doing a little wrist circle and lifting, and back down to D. D, G, B, D. The fingering will be 5-2-1 and 5-3-1. So D, G, B, D, F sharp, C, B. Okay, so that's the left hand for you. Now let's put it all together. I'll count 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Up, to G, and we build up to C and E. Rest, rest, rest. D, G, B, D, F sharp, C, B. Okay, so that's the left hand. And now let's try the right hand, but with the block chord. We'll do it a little slower. Notice how the piece starts on beat 2 instead of 1. So that kind of helps to propel it forward. So feel that first beat with your body before starting. This B, C, D, G. And notice that we have ornaments, the little, right, the short B, and play that on the beat. That was customary in Beethoven's time to play on the beat, so we're going to play on the beat. Okay, it happens in measure 2 and also in measure 4. Okay, so right hand with block chord in the left hand. 1, ready, go. Leads here. E. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Try to follow the fingerings that's given in the addition. Yeah, and this G is the last note of the slur, and last notes of the slur is always tapered off. It's treated like the last word of a sentence, right? You'll never be like, you know, I'm gonna play Beethoven or something like that. We taper off the last notes. Even if he did not write the little hairpin that we have, like the crescendo and diminuendo, the phrase marking in measures 5 through 8, you'll still make that last G softer because it's the last note of the phrase. Okay, little pointer. So we have this B, C, D, and then we get to G, and there's another G, right? On that, the third eighth note of the first beat. Sorry, I don't have a way to point to it because I couldn't connect my iPad. This is just a screen share, window capture. But that G actually belongs to this phrase. Okay, so first G belongs to here, and then we're gonna lighten the second G as a pickup note to this phrase, and then we taper off there. So I use my wrist to kind of show the shaping of the slur lines. So for example, I breathe before. Pianists always breathe with the wrist, and I lead into G, which is the first downbeat. I tap on the second G, and I lead into B and taper off on the second G. So, you know, it's always important that you're breathing through your phrasings. You know, when in doubt, just sing the line, and that's how you should play it. See if we can put it all together at a slightly slower tempo. 1, ready, go, 3. It's a way slower tempo, sorry. Now the pickup, we're gonna build up to this and taper off. New phrase or new idea, right? Basic idea too. Sorry, I forgot to hold that E bad. Now third time, we're gonna build up. 1, 2, 3. Crescendo to this moment. Even left hand does a little arm circle for that quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5. Okay, end of the A section. Okay, here's the second part of Beethoven's Romanza, continuation. And we are in, there's a C sharp added in because we have modulated. Modulation is the change of the key to the dominant. And that's a very typical place for any like sonatina or any piece actually that's in a major key to modulate to. Just think of it as, you know, it's too boring to just spend all your time in one place, so you go visit, but you You know, if I live in Orange County, maybe for fun, I go up to LA. I'm probably not gonna go to Hawaii anytime soon. So it's, you go to somewhere related, somewhere close. And dominant is very close to your tonic, which is the one, you know. So 5 is 5, which is dominant. It's the second most important key, right? Another commonplace, if the piece of music was in minor key, is the relative major. I guess the composers did not want to keep you sad the whole time. So if it, for example, if this piece of music was in E minor, the modulation area would likely be to G major. So anyway, it starts with pick up again. It's kind of the theme, right, for this. And look how long this phrase is. We crescendo up, we arrive here, but that's the center. So up to here is one long phrase. And in order for left hand to support, I'm gonna have 1 dynamic level, and then 2 and 3, and then back to about 1.5. You know, it doesn't have to be exact, but something like that. You know, for classical pieces, especially when a figure is like this, you know, where it's supporting, left hand never wants to overpower the right hand, but also it also doesn't want to turn into that project partner who doesn't do anything. You know, there's always that one kid in your group that doesn't pull his or her weight. Yeah, so you don't want your left hand to be like that. So make sure that it's supporting, even if the dynamics underneath the right hand. And then we build up to A and C sharp and resolve here. Okay, and the fingering is going to be 4 2 2 4 rather 1 5 1 2 and octave. Okay, renders nicely. And right hand, let's take a look. It has a slur, and then we have this staccato, which are not really written in the main, or I've seen editions where in the old text, that is, editions where they put slur over that too. So I probably don't want to do something like bop, 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 a super short thing, you know. So you want to do kind of a longer, because staccato merely means to separate, where you're more like tom pom 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 pom, like a ringing staccato. Okay, how's that? So it's pick up and you build up, and you can even move your body here. Use your arm for that A. Lift and then don't start soft right away. You can actually save your diminuendo until here. But because just by the fact that this right hand figure moves down, it's gonna sound as if you diminuendoed anyway. Okay, so let's play that much, just both hands. 1, ready, go. And then maybe a little pedal here. Okay, so that's the first statement of the B, and then now we have 3 of the same thing. This is where I would actually change the dynamic from this edition. You know, there's 3 of these, right? Left hand has this ascending scale. You know, I will probably make the second one in measure 13 louder, and then softer again at measure 15, measure 14. Okay, but it's totally up to you as long as they're somewhat different. Okay, so I'm gonna do it my way, and look at the repeated notes in the right hand at measure 12. Instead of going 5 5 5, which might be physically easiest, try 5 4 5. So why do I torture myself to make my life more difficult when it's the same thing? I can just go 5 5 5. It's because just a good habit to have. When there's repeated notes, not because 3 repeated notes is going to give you any tension, but if you alternate the fingering, it's going to make it sound a little different. So it will naturally shape it for you. So that's why. So right hand's going to be 5 4 5 3 1. First note of the slur, so 1 2, down and up. Okay. So we're gonna go 5, 4, 5, 3, 1. Now louder. Remember, I was gonna switch them and softer. Dee da dee da da. Legato connected. Okay, and super soft on this D because another build up is coming. Okay. And left hand. This will sound even more lovely if you can kind of go build up to G and lift off on B. So I'm following the suggested slur signs. Let's do it slowly together. 1, red, pick up to okay, this is pick up to 13. Sorry, going kind of fast. 1, ready, go. Now louder. Now less. Make sure left hand's length is exact. So it doesn't feel quite like a resolution yet, right? There's some more building up to do, which is coming up. Okay, so we ended with a quiet D on the downbeat of measure 16. Now we're gonna start quiet, match the dynamic, and build up. Okay, you definitely need pedal for this roll to let it ring, and then it's building up. So think of it as 1, 2, 3, crescendoing to that final E. Okay, so we're going gently. Now go to here. Now loudest. Okay, we get to spend some time here, and don't die right away just because it says diminuendo. Remember, diminuendo just means gradually softer. A lot of times, even really advanced students do this. They see diminuendo and it's like almost subito, suddenly piano. So just let that die gradually because that's a transition back to A section. Okay, so let's try that again. In order to make sorry, I keep on going back and forth. In order to make this left hand really smooth, it should sound like almost like guitar or harp. You have to relax your wrist, and let's use the fingering 5, 3, 2, 1, and relax your wrist, relax your fingers, and I use the wrist to play it actually. So first maybe do this a few times. Just make sure your fingers are evenly placed, and then it's one gesture. You don't want it to sound like. Notice how like unblended that sounds. So you need to. You don't even have to hold on to that D. You can let go unless you can really hold on. But sometimes for beginners, if they hold on to that D and not let the pedal do it for you, they might tense up. So if you're able to relax, yeah, sure, do hold it and then lift. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or just let go. It's okay. 3, 2, 3. Use pedal to let it ring for you. So anyway, that's a little detour on the rolled chord with the squiggly line. Now let's play pick up to measure 17 again. 1, 2, 3, da dee da sol. Level 1. Now level 2. 1, 2, rest. Now stay. And gradual. Okay, and that is our long transition back to our A section, which returns on just top of what's it, in the middle of measure 21. So starting from the downbeat of measure 19. So we are loud, and you remember it was diminuendo, G, A. Now we're at middle of 21, and take a little bit of time before the A returns is what I wanted to say. Think of it as like you're driving and the light is green, okay, but you're turning right. The light is green, so you are safe to turn, but you would slow down, right? You're gonna put that foot on the brake a little bit to slow down, to smooth out that turn. So make that kind of seem like that. So it's not a retardando, but if you go straight into it, like you're not acknowledging that turn or this return of A. So let me show you. So we're at 19. And we're back. Okay, so think about how you can make that turn smooth. So that transition from the transition back to A. All right. Since I already explained A, I'm not gonna go into it right now. Let's take a look at the last section, the special ending. Okay, so this is more like Coda because Beethoven totally could have ended his piece at the end of the A return, right? The returning A. But he has this play between 5 and, let me see, what chords does he use? He has the D7 and E minor. Oh, so it kind of goes through the same chord changes that we had in the B section at first. And see, D7 going to E minor, C, and G. And after that, it's just a play on 5, 1 kind of business. Let me see if I'm right. Oh, it just goes through the primary chords. All right, so let's try this. How about just the left hand ones? We're gonna start at measure 30. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. D, 3, 4, 5, 6, E minor. So how do you connect these two chords? Is by holding on to D and not, give it an illusion. Or, I can technically connect 5, 3. Look at my fingers down here. 2, 2, 4. The only finger that is not able to connect physically is the 1. So as long as you're connecting at least one of them, it will give the legato sound. Okay, and remember to play the D7 louder and then E minor quiet. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. D7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, E minor, 2, lift, and C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now broken version of kind of what we did. Now C major, G major, D7, G major, echo of it. D7, 1. Now we're resolving at G. So by the time, let me see. Then you get to the end. At the second to last, the final cadence is in between measure 38 to 39, right? And then the rest is just 1 and then 1 and 1 business. Let me see if I can make the score smaller so you can see everything, but that's almost too small, isn't it? Okay, at least it's all on one page. All right, let's try adding the right hand. Okay, it starts with the pickup as usual, and then it goes 3, 4, 5, A. Okay, first A belongs to this, and just like in the opening, second A belongs to second phrase, this one, or second motive rather. Okay, little fragment. Okay, so let's try that again. 1, ready, go. B, C, D, 1. So end of the first phrase of this. Yeah, kind of, to me, it has kind of a regretful feel. Like you've just making stuff up now. Let's take the meaning Romanza as literally romance. Maybe you've had your happiness together, and this is more like reflection on it, and maybe I could have done things better, right? I'm sure you've had moments like that. So I totally made that up. Oh, I guess I could have made better dinner for him, or I don't know, made more money or something. Okay, next one. I know it shouldn't be sexist, right? Why would women be the only ones making dinner? But that's for another day. And then the next part is kind of the same thing. See, even I fell for that. Notice the second time it comes with the broken chord in the left hand. It also has straight rhythm here in the right hand. But hey, I thought I was gonna regret again, but maybe I did well after all. But I was a good wife. Okay, maybe not that great. Pretty sure, like almost 100%, that Beethoven did not have any of that on his mind. But as I remind my students, it's very important for you to have your own story. And there's no right or wrong, because it's music, it's universal language. Yet when, even if composer intended a certain way, when it reaches our ears, it might turn into a total different thing, right? So that's the fun of it. And I encourage you to make up your own story, because it's not enough to just play the notes that are on the page. You gotta lift it out, and in order to make it your own, having a narrative really helps. This screen is really tiny. Let me make it a little louder, and let's try playing that part where I made up story for, saying maybe I did really do well after all. Here's a C major, right? At measure 25. See, you can practice any of these with block chords. So C major, G, and then D7, G, and then now the echo version. Okay, maybe not that great. Okay, bye. C'est la vie. Life goes on, kind of thing. Okay. Of course, there are so many more details to talk about with the piece, but we'll conclude the little intro or tutorial here. But before I let you go, I can play the whole thing for you. Okay. And I am adding pedal in places to enhance the chords, left hand chords. Okay. And it's allegretto, so not too fast. One. Okay, repeat. B section. We're reaching up here. Building up, naughty now. Hold, hold, hold. Remember, we're gonna turn the corner. Return to A. Let's take the repeat. There you have it, Romanza by Beethoven.